Yeah. I'm so done with this. Oh my god, come on. No exiles. Yeah, the damage does exist. Hey guys, in this video I want to talk about the Spectral Wolves build, and in the past I did it a couple times and I was very pleasantly surprised how strong they are. For some reason the DPS in Path of Building was way lower than it felt in game. It was like 3 or 4 times higher in practice than in Path of Building. So now with the new Crucible modifier, which says trigger level 20 summon Spectral Wolves on critical strike with Cleave or Reap. If you're using two-handed weapon, you're only gonna be able to use Cleave. But if you use Reef, you can actually use Summon Spectral Wolves as an extra buff to your Reef build. They do provide a flat physical damage to attacks, and all you have to do is crit with Cleave or Reef. Now I went with the axe that has over 20% critical strike chance. This way I don't really need to focus on getting crit chance, and I have 100% crit chance, although that is combined with the Ungil's Harmony Amulet, which does give quite a bit of crit chance. Even the lowest roll increased global critical strike chance on this amulet would still be enough to reach 100% crit chance for this. Now, I was gonna say that it's pretty easy to get an axe like that, but I tried to get a second axe like that and I wasted over a divine many combinations and still could not hit the right modifiers. Essentially you want 6% critical strike chance, but it does have a drawback. Your critical strikes do not deal extra damage. But that doesn't matter because you yourself are not doing damage, you just need to crit. And then you only need to hit summon Spectral Wolves. That's it. You don't need to worry about anything else. So only those two modifiers. So the way I was doing that, I was getting either the Talon Axe, the Dagger Axe or the Flesh Ripper with the Spectral Wolves modifier last, and then getting any other two-handed axe that has a second node with the 6% critical strike chance. Charge that 6% critical strike chance on the axe, and then sacrifice that charged axe onto the right base essentially, and hope to hit that crit chance and keep the Spectral Wolves. So that's how I was doing it, and to finish crafting it, I would ideally want to recraft this completely. You essentially spam essence, minions deal increased damage, but ideally you would probably want to get a tier 1 fracture critical strike chance modifier and then transfer good Crucible 3 on that axe and then craft it with the essence for minion increased damage. And then hit attack speed on that, and then probably benchcraft hits cannot be evaded. The accuracy was really a big problem, and I'm so surprised that it's a big problem because I have additional accuracy support linked to the Cleave, and I have, this is Scion by the way, and I have Scion's Juggernaut, which does give flat 1000 accuracy. And guess what? My hit chance is still not properly capped. It is capped, it is 100% hit chance right now, but only 95 against evasive monsters. For example, if I remove additional accuracy, it goes down to 87 hit chance, which is not great because ideally I would want to replace this. So if I could craft hits cannot be evaded, I could remove the additional accuracy, I could recraft the helmet, I could change a couple other pieces of items. I would lose a bit of minion attack speed, well, quite a lot of minion attack speed, which is also attack speed for me, but I wouldn't need to worry about accuracy. However, the main problem of this build, the damage was fine. Okay, two problems. One was it's clunky. It's not pleasant using Cleave, especially if you die, you got no minions, you have to summon those wolves again. You cannot just attack quickly 10 times and summon those wolves. No, it does have a half second cooldown. You cannot summon wolves faster than that. You do, however, when you crit, you refresh and heal them, but only one wolf at a time. Only one wolf will get healed when you crit. It's like GG intentionally tried to make those wolves clunky. It's just so annoying. When you compare to Arcalis spiders, lay down like Desecrate, get one kill, boom, maximum spiders, they are immortal. They cannot be damaged, don't need to heal them, you don't need to crit with the weapon, so you don't need accuracy. It's just so much simpler. With the Spectral Wolves, you have to crit, which means you have to worry about accuracy, so you cannot take the Resolute technique. You cannot take a Resolute technique because you need to crit. Then we also scale with the claw crit chance, which is whatever. I did not bother with that. Secondly, you need to roll crit chance, and then you have to use cleave, which is kind of annoying and very unpleasant. So you also have to get increased AoE if you don't want your cleave to be small. And on top of that, Spectral Wolves have a half-second cooldown, and they are not immortal. So yet again, I made this comparison in the past that Spectral Wolves are just kind of unreasonably clunky compared to Aracali spiders. If you compare it to Law of the Wild Claw, it summons level 25 Spectral Wolf on critical strike with that weapon. This league is actually much easier to get a higher crit chance. You basically get this weapon, Law of the Wild, and roll Crucible until you hit some kind of crit chance. If you roll 6% crit chance, done. You don't need to worry about your crit chance. You're gonna have like 100% crit chance very easily. However, with this, you can only socket 3 support jumps inside the claw. So without the squire, I thought that surely with 6 supports in two-handed weapon, it's gonna be easy to out-damage it. But it's actually still kind of... it's way too difficult because like the second biggest problem was me trying to survive. I don't have recovery, I don't have a shield, so I cannot get a shield with like recover life and block. I can get block, I didn't go for block with the bone offering because this is Scion Necromancer, so it can be affected by offerings, but I didn't go for that. But other than that, I'm not really doing much damage with Cleave, so I can't really rely on leech. I do have life on hit from alcohol to Cleave, but I'm only hitting like at maximum 3 times per second against single target. That's like nothing. That's like 60 life per second. That's nothing. I do have recoup. That's not enough. I cannot have leech. I have some regen. That's not enough. There's not much else I can do. I tried running with the blood notch setup. It felt bad. I kept getting stun locked sometimes against rapid hits, and I couldn't even just use cleave. So if you run into enemy that is very dangerous, the wolves die because we're not immortal, or we just despawn. In order to resummon them, you have to hit the enemy, and if you don't have wolves, the enemy is gonna attack you and keep stunning you, and you're not really very defensive. I tried adding later on determination. I do have the steel skin. This is also with the juggernaut sub ascendancy, so I do generate endurance charges. This was also now cannot be stunned, cannot be chilled. I am immune to shocks, immune to frozen, and I just straight up get one-shotted. I don't have much HP, but in the end I just couldn't get enough tankiness while keeping the damage. For now I end up with like 215,000 DPS per wolf. Don't worry, the actual damage in practice feels higher than that. It's around like 5 million DPS, maybe 4 million DPS in practice. It just feels like that. I'm running melee splash most of the time only against bigger bosses. I swap it to multi-strike. I don't have animate guardian, I don't have specters. There's simply no room for that because you're essentially running 2 sixlings. One is for the spectral wolves in the weapon, and then I am actually running cleave with cast and crit, so I can proc desecrate and flesh offering with just one click. Actually, one click does like 3 things: creates corpses, uses the offering, and then heals wolves or create wolves. This is not really focusing on minimum tankiness per se, so I do have golem which dies from time to time, but it's just one golem that provides quite a lot of damage actually. And I do have a helmet enchantment as well for the Karen golem, and the Karen golem is linked to only feeding princes, so it also provides a buff. Now this is pure physical. I'm using Ceaseless Feast gloves again. I tried to compare this build to cold version, and the cold version just had like half of the damage of this build. However, I think like the corrosion stacks, since I'm not really attacking, this is not cyclone. With cyclone it's so much simpler to use these gloves because you are just hitting so much more frequently. So it's very easy to apply corrosion stacks. With this it's not so easy. So in general it's just not very consistent, not very reliable. The build is not tanky enough. You can obviously make this tankier. I'm not sure how I would go about this. I already had a Scion, so I did not want to start a new build, but Scion also works. It's kind of flexible. I tried as a Scion taking instead of Guardian. I tried going with the Champion. I thought about the Pathfinder. I even spec'd into Jugger and picked something else. But yeah, this is what I end up with now, and it's not feeling too great. It's just annoying. Just quickly, the main supports. I am using Behead for wolves. It does work. For minions, we just need to have a default attack. That is a strike skill. So the Behead only helps against enemies that are on low life, but it does pretty often steal enemies buffs, so like haste aura or the protective bubbles or something else. And I am running Impale, melee physical damage, predator support, awakened brutality level 1 only, and awakened melee splash level 5 just for extra AoE, which I do swap to multi-strike. Because this is Impale, I kind of have to run Dread Banner with Generosity. I was previously running Flesh and Stone with main, but I could not squeeze in Determination, so I had to remove something. I also was running with Skitterboards. It was just way too squishy. Now I couldn't even get Spell Suppression, I cannot even get Chaos Res because I simply don't have enough suffixes. Maybe I could replace the body armor, but it doesn't have enough flexibility for now. So I don't know how I would fix that. I will scrap this build. I'm done with this build. I'm so done. I have died way too many times, and it's just frustrating trying to fix something that doesn't even feel great in the first place. My next build will be a very kind of old school and very normal, I guess. Ascendancy Contagion. I haven't played Ascendancy Contagion in, I don't know, maybe 5 years. So I'm pretty excited to give it a try again. The damage, single target damage is not going to be great, but I think Cleave speed should be good, hopefully. So until then, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.